and yet there were still moments when you thought it might end up 4 each. Incredible game of football, incredible season. A thrilling result for West Brom, may arguably even more so for Leicester, West Ham, Tottenham and Liverpool. But the Blues must put it behind them. It's Porto next in the first leg of the Champions League quarter-final, and that's got to be the main focus as the top 4 fight tightens up. An amazing scoreline at Stamford Bridge as the players make their way off the field. Thomas Tuchel the last in Chelsea blue to do so. Chelsea 2, West Bromwich Albion 5. Stay tuned for more from the fifth standout, the Matchday Live team, and post-match reaction to come.
Welcome back to Matchday Live. Chelsea are beaten 5-2 by West Bromwich Albion in the early kickoff. Jace, where do we start?
Well, let's start with the red card, which changed the game, the course of the game. From someone so experienced, we were talking him up before the game. He didn't have a great time that he was on the pitch anyway. I felt he looked a bit rusty, some of his passing. Once you get an early booking, you know you've got to have to be very, very careful for the rest of the game. But to get a second one so close to the first, and in the manner it was, that was surprising. You don't expect that from someone of his experience, really. And I think that really was the But I got to give credit to West Brom because at 1-0, I still felt we had enough to go on and win this game. Okay, the 2 goals for half-time changed the course of it, and then of course the third really to take it away from us. So credit to them because they played really well. I mean, they didn't sit in like we all anticipate that they would. They played, they come out, they played, they changed the shape, went to a 4, moved the ball through the middle part. I mean, they played well. I've not seen West Brom play a style of football like that under Sam. So look, we got well beaten today, guys. I think we just need to try and accept that these things happen in football and move on. It's a punishing. I don't think I've seen a red card punished quite so severely though.
Claire, what was missing today in terms of like Jason said, it felt maybe that there was a little bit of sort of rustiness, a little bit of a sluggish start, maybe perhaps in the first 10-15 minutes, and then when you get the goal, you think, okay, this is where it kicks on and goes on. And like Jason said, the goal straight before half time changed the course of the game. But what was missing in terms of the team, in terms of what was needed? What was missing?
I think Mount, to be honest, the over-reliance on him, it showed when he came on. But look, aside from that, we were second to everything. I think we were reactive. We started slow, looked a little bit disinterested. I just feel like we were kind of waiting for someone to ignite something, and it just never really came. And I think obviously the red card changed the game, but we should still be able to get organised and compact. We've got some very experienced players still on the pitch. I just think it just wasn't clicking. We were just not at the races today, and I think it's one to just forget and move on from and learn.
I think that's key, isn't it, Dan, in terms of learning from it? Because I think we're all as fans, same way that the players and everyone involved is probably a little bit shell shocked by it. Because we did kind of allude to it before kickoff, but this wasn't a result that anyone could see. This doesn't happen in terms of a team in the relegation zone that haven't won at Stamford Bridge for the best part of 30 odd years or whatever, and to come and score 5. So I suppose now, like Claire said, it's about learning from it and an inevitable reaction needed midweek against Porto in the Champions League.
Yeah, no one expected it, but it's just what happens. A red card can really turn things around, and it did, and it did it very, very fast. So there's nothing we could do about it. We were well beaten. We have our reasons. If we can learn from it, then that's a good thing. We just need to lick our wounds and go again to against Porto, because we can't carry this performance and this result into midweek.
I know it's strange, Jay, but I mean, even the stats kind of don't really tell the story. Chelsea had more possession, had more shots on target, more corners. So when you look at a game like this, you often think one team or another team's blowing the other one away. But I suppose in terms of the game itself, it was so open that you almost got a little bit of a basketball game, didn't you? Where end to end, up and down, and like you said, credit where it's due. I mean, some of the West Brom goals were superb, and they'll come away fully justified with the 3 points. But it was a very strange game today, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, I was saying to Ben with 2 or 3 minutes left that when we scored the goal, who scored for us? I can't even remember now. Who got our goal? Mason? Who? No, the first.
Yeah.
The first one.
Pulisic.
It's that long ago. So much happened. I'm like, that goal seemed like it was a different game. That's how far back it was. Of course, it was a free kick. Yeah. So much happened, and they set out at half time. They set out to get the third goal in the game, and they felt if they get the third, they'll kill this off. Because they can't defend. They can't sit back and defend a lead because they're not been able to do that all season. So why would they start now? And that's what you get. You get a game like that. It was a basketball game, and I felt that would suit us. I felt that's I wanted an open game because I felt there's the only way we're going to get back into it. But we were well beaten today. I'm upset over it, but I've been more upset over defeats this season because when you go down to 10 men and these things can happen. It just shows that even in the Premier League, even a side like West Brom, how you can be punished with that numerical disadvantage that you have. But the goals before half time, that's disappointing for me. To go in, not even just to concede 2, that changed the game for me. And so
completely agree. And Claire, this is the first time we've faced adversity under Thomas Tuchel. So I suppose the next sort of 10 days, we've got Porto twice and Crystal Palace in the space of the next 10, 14 days or so. So we'll learn quite a lot about the manager and about his team, won't we, in that space of time?
Yeah, the great thing about football is that you always have an opportunity to rectify mistakes, and what a great opportunity to do so. I think we're going to be fired up off the back of it. It can only improve, right? And that's a good way and what a good game to make another statement and say, look, yes, we've had bumps in the way, but it's about showing the team spirit now, reactivity. The leaders in that changing room, they're the ones who need to get the players by the scruff of the neck, because Tuchel, he can only do so much. He can give the tactical advice, but on the pitch, they need to be able to solve the problems. And I think for me, that was the issue today.
Completely. And Dan, everything like Claire's just said there about finding out, I suppose, a little bit more about your players. Usually when it gets to this end of the season, you think a result like this goes against you and you think, it's going to, that's going to cost us in terms of the top 4. But because there's been no continuity or consistency across the league, results like this, you can't really tell how it's going to go. We might see in the next sort of 2 or 3 days that the teams that around us could punish us also slip up. We've been let off the hook a couple of times this season, and vice versa with other teams in the same situation. So I suppose, like Claire said, it's about moving on from today and getting that right next week against Palace and putting this to bed.
Yeah, there'll be plenty more twists and turns in this race for top 4. That's for sure. But it's just, I'm with Jay. It's a bad loss, but you could almost see it capitulating before your eyes as soon as we got that red card. And you in a way you almost have that to kind of to lean on, and be like, that's the reason we weren't just bettered 11 versus 11. We weren't necessarily flat, but we were at a disadvantage. for whatever reason. So
yeah, if this is 11v11, guys, we go on to win this game. Okay, what is a bit concerning is the 2 goals for half time. How, because we were a mess, and that was there you go. Get to half time. As the game develops, it's only natural that you start to leave spaces because you are duty bound to try and get that goal in the game. Therefore, you naturally will leave space. So but the 2 goals before half time, they're the ones I'm angry about if anything, because you've got to get to half time at 1-0. You've got to get there, patch things up. But to have conceded the goals, I mean, honestly, it was shocking to defend. That's as bad as we've been for I'm trying to think years. Those 2 goals, that's the ones that changed the course of this game for me. And also, just one other thing, the goal difference. I've been looking at the league table. We had plus 19 going into this game. That's the Spurs, I think, are on the same as us, or were. That's, when things are tight as they are, the goal difference could really prove important.
Mate, absolutely right. Let's have a little look at what's coming up on the 5th stand, then highlights of today's game available a little bit later on, of course, and all the post-match reaction. We're back in PL2 action on Tuesday. There's live coverage of our game against West Ham United from 6:55. Then, as if we needed a run up to it, there is a huge Champions League quarter-final first leg against Porto for us on Wednesday evening. We are back with Matchday Live from 6:50 as the Blues look to get an advantage in Seville, and very much a reaction from this afternoon as well. So obviously a tough, disappointing start to the weekend for Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea, but we go again. There's still plenty more football to be played. Thank you very much for watching and enjoy the rest of your weekend.